Cheap Pop Copcast. We are your hosts, John, Baby Carrot, I pissed on my balls, Hook, the code I cannot get no satisfaction, Allen, and now you're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Timothy O'Neill. We welcome you. We're going to start off with our Raw recap. We're going to pass it on to Baby Carrot Hook, or my bad, Dakota Allen. Sorry. Got a little excited there.
You ain't got to bring up the satisfaction issue, man. I told you that in confidence, all right?
Hey, man, I got a baby carrot and large balls. Leave me alone.
I think it's just normal-sized balls with the baby carrot, but we ain't got time for an anatomy lesson. All right. This week's Raw, let's go through the rundown. All right. Opening up, we had Edge and Beth Phoenix come out and cut his little promo, setting up the Judgment Day storyline. Smacking Beth's booty and him getting yelled at too was also hilarious. Judgment Day comes out, confronts him, pretty much setting up the whole Finn and Edge at the Rumble, but also setting up Finn and Rhea versus Edge and Beth at Elimination Chamber in 8 days now, I think. They end up all getting in a brawl. Angelo Dawkins comes out to come after Damian Priest because they have a match next. Dominic gets out of the ring. Montez Ford comes in, evens it out. Beth hits him with a glam slam. Can never say that. Go to commercial break, come back. We got the Priest versus Angelo Dawkins Elimination Chamber qualifying match with Priest ended up picking the win up. And then next, my notes are struggling here. Next, we have Dexter Lumis with Johnny Gargano versus Baron Corbin versus JBL, with Gargano picking up another win. Dexter picking up the win. I get them mixed up at this point anymore. Afterwards, backstage, cutting a promo, Nikki Cross is doing some weird things in the background. I don't think anybody really cares. Excuse me. After that, Brock Lesnar comes out, just delivering a beautiful Bobby Who promo. If you haven't heard that one yet, you need to. Pretty much calling out Bobby Lashley, setting up for their match at Elimination Chamber as well. Afterwards, we have a women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match with Piper Niven versus Carmella versus Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae, with Carmella picking up the win on her return back to Raw in 5 months?
Regardless, you'll love to see it.
You do love to see it. Afterwards, backstage, JBL tells Baron Corbin he's a loser and tarnishes his legacy and disappears. So I guess it's their way writing JBL off. Afterwards, Alpha Academy versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with MVP with the Hurt Business picking up the win. I'm glad to see it all coming back. Chelsea Green does some Karen shit with Adam Pearce. I don't know why that's her character, because she's genuinely better than that. But Adam Pearce tells her she's having a match tonight. She goes out to the ring. Her opponent's Asuka. Asuka wins in another squash match. You squish. After that is the promo and highlight of the whole episode. Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman cutting promo on each other to set up their upcoming WrestleMania match, since he's the Royal Rumble winner. All I can say about it is one of the best things I've heard in years, and I listened to them talk for 3 hours. We'll come back to that. Afterwards is the Elimination Chamber qualifying match for Montez Ford versus Elias, with Montez Ford picking up the win. I'm hoping we get a singles push from him here soon. It was an excellent match. Afterwards, to main event the night, we have Becky Lynch versus Bayley with... I'm not even saying the name. I don't respect them that much. They're trash. Overall, pretty solid match for the time that allowed. The ending saw Damage Control starting to help out Bayley, and then Lita makes her return and helps Becky Lynch win the match. And that is the quick, sloppy rundown of last week's Raw. John, what are your thoughts on everything?
Absolutely love the not bloodline. Jesus Christ. The Hurt Business getting back together. That was one of my favorite stables before they got dismantled. I think they can, if they keep the bloodline together, that'll be a fantastic rivalry. They're going to have to turn the bloodline face for that to work, though. That's the only issue. That's really all my thoughts on Raw. I thought the episode was good, but there's parts of it that were kind of stale.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There were parts that were stale. But again, that Paul Heyman Cody Rhodes promo. If anyone hasn't heard it, please just go listen to it. It's wonderful.
I was gonna let Ken give his thoughts on that one.
Listen
Cody Rhodes is his
here.
favorite guy.
Hey, Dollar General Ric Flair. What you got to say about this shit?
Go fuck yourself. That's what I gotta say about that. I was definitely kind of confused for a minute when that promo first started going on, and then started picking up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be personal. And then Cody went above and beyond. I was very excited for it. I think we might see a little bit of a asshole out of Cody Rhodes now, which I think would be a good push for him. So I liked it. The episode was okay. I'm glad Montez Ford got a singles push going into this Elimination Chamber. But I'm definitely with Dakota that the rift between Cody and Paul was probably the highlight of the show.
For sure. And Montez sneaking up on Dominic.
Oh, the whole Dave Chappelle Purple Rain walk was just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
All right. If no one has anything else, John, how about you tell us about some Schmackdown?
All right, to start off SmackDown.
Yeah.
Pipe down, I'm talking. We had Paul Heyman. He came out and cut another fantastic promo. And then Sammy snuck out behind him and basically did what he did a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, just pulled the hood off. And he also cut a pretty good promo on the Bloodline potentially breaking up. I hope that doesn't happen. Like I said, I want to see them versus the Hurt Business. But to go on to the first show, the Banger Bros beat Shit Row.
Banger after banger.
Absolutely. That match was not a banger, though. That was more of a squash.
Squish.
Then, speaking of squashes, the next match was 1-2. Lacey Evans versus some random jobber from probably a local promotion. I can't even remember their name. Didn't even bother jotting it down. And then we had Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Usos. During the entire show, they were basically saying, will Jay come back? Jimmy was calling him on the phone almost the entire show, couldn't get a hold of him. And then he showed up in the middle of the crowd, made his way down to the ring, and at that point, you pretty much knew it was going to happen. The Usos got the win, and then we had Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan beating Jobber Sonya and Chelsea Green. That match could have went a little faster, but it is what it is. There's also another squash. Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Madcap Moss versus Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar. Surprisingly, Madcap won. I thought Karrion Kross and Rey Mysterio were for sure going to win this match, but, change is nice. Do y'all have any thoughts on the show?
Yeah, I'm going to throw a quick thought out on this. That was one of the weirdest endings because, the count just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? There was, no, 1, 2, it's just 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden it was Madcap's jump. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was not a fan how that ended.
I think they may have just ran out of time because they had to do that little bit at the end with Heyman and Uso.
Son of a... That I don't know, man. I didn't like that.
I didn't care for it too much either. This was one of the more weirder episodes of SmackDown. You would have thought that the SmackDown tag team title match would have been at the very end, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Dakota, do you have any thoughts on this?
SmackDown, honestly, it just felt like it kind of drug for me tonight, honestly. Like, strong start with the Paul Heyman Bloodline storyline promo with Sammy. Weird placement of the SmackDown title match, but nice how they brought Jay in. And the ending, Karrion Kross should have been the one to win that. He needs any sort of help he can get at this point to still make him be as good as he absolutely can be. But overall, like, I probably could have skipped this episode of SmackDown. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, the only reason to watch this one would have been for like the Sammy part towards the end, him meeting Jay back by the trailers, and then him talking to Paul. Basically, the Bloodline made this show, but that's all it was. Yeah, this was definitely a skippable episode. You could have caught most of this on the highlights on like YouTube or Twitter. But, yeah. So we'll move on to our topic of discussion this week. Our topic this week is what celebrity appearances in WWE do you all think are the best? Ken, we'll go ahead and start with you.
I think the Mike Tyson Stone Cold brawl was awesome. You had the baddest man in the WWF at the time going against the baddest man on the planet. Um, and I just I loved every minute of it. Even going back and forth with each other and stuff.
They booked that pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
They try to do that little bit of an angle with Ronda Rousey. Dear God, and that just no, it just doesn't work.
It's unnatural, man.
Yeah, she's absolutely terrible on the mic. Given Mike Tyson can't talk to save his life, but at least he's believable whenever he says things.
Yeah, because he can back it up.
Right.
For a judo match, I'd be worried about Ronda, but
it is what it is. Really. It is what it is. Yeah. Dakota, what is your pick for the best celebrity appearance?
So, obviously, Mike Tyson's probably the best one on the list. Stephen Amell, the actor who played Green Arrow, when he was on there and had his match, was it was a great match.
That was a throwback I wasn't expecting, man. That was good.
The autism remembers things. But overall, like, one of the biggest ones, celebrities that had huge storylines, and specifically WWE, would be Cyndi Lauper, doing a lot of stuff with the women's at that time. But if I can pick WCW, Dennis Rodman.
Yes. Yup. Yeah, that's a good one.
That is pretty good. We got him into NWO and everything. That's a couple solid picks, man.
I'm full of useless information and solid picks. I'm only good at two things.
So I'm going to go a little more recent. I thought Logan Paul coming into WWE was, for one, we thought he was just there for a gimmick and to sell his prime drink. But man can put on a show.
Oh yeah, he can.
He had the moment of the Royal Rumble with Ricochet, going each coming from each side of the ring, and the match with the Miz the tag team match with the Miz at WrestleMania was solid. Him turning on the Miz at the end, like in his match with Roman Reigns, like he's put on nothing but awesome matches, nothing but bangers. To be honest with you,
banger
after banger after
banger.
But
I agree, 100%. Logan Paul's done a phenomenal job, and he's good on the mic. And as oh, do we have what was that press conference he had where he quoted Botchamania's "I am the table"? Fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody who watches that outside of some of the indie guys that reference it. You don't really see too many of the WWE guys referencing Botchamania.
Yeah, but that was amazing. He said, "I am the table." Good plug there for Botchamania, by the way.
Oh yeah, if Botchamania noticed us, for the love of God, we need your help. But Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. Anything y'all want to add in before we go?
Nothing really. Short episode, but we got, right to the point. I'm going to go ahead and say it because John can't say it with a straight face regarding our socials. TikTok is Pop My Podcast for cheap. John is going to upload some stuff on there. He just can't say that name with a straight face.
I don't know why.
I can't do it. It's too damn funny. But our Twitter and Instagram, both basically the same handles. Cheap Pop Wrestling Podcast for Twitter and Cheap Pop Podcast on Instagram. Make sure to follow T&J Podcast on Facebook. We're underneath. We're in their umbrella. Also expect a WrestleMania crossover episode with those guys. That'll be pretty fun to do. They're mostly just sports related, but they also big fans of wrestling. Make sure you go listen to some of their episodes. I'm on there as well every now and then. But yeah, we're going to wrap this episode up. Great job, guys. We'll see y'all next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.